Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're feeling okay. I hope you're ready for a bit of a crafty session. I thought we'd have a catch up. And really this video is a follow on from a video I did a couple of days ago. And the one I'm referring to is this card design that we made with some lovely blending and some of our fabulous new Lavinia stamps mixed with some of our older stamps. And it got me thinking. I mean, I love this background so much. And often I think if we find a background we like, why not just use other stamps with it? Sometimes you don't want to do anything sort of earth-shattering and try new techniques. It's just nice to use the colours you've got on your desk. And obviously these colours are always on my desk, as you know. So what I did was I came up with this design. And it came about because I had the colours, obviously, on my desk already. But also I had this lovely stamp, which is the small of the swing bed stamps. So put it that way. So obviously that's the way Tracy's designed it, as this lovely swing bed. And I don't know why, in my head, it was that way. And I'm thinking it looks like something growing. And then I thought about the gorgeous lanterns that a lot of people have in the gardens, hanging lanterns and all the lights that we have at the minute. And I just wondered if the pound little lantern would fit in. And it does. And I just thought I'll just have a go at creating, see if I can create almost like my poppy meadow with some nice lights. So this time of year, I mean, we've just been camping for the weekend, and it's lovely when we see around other people's motorhomes and caravans and tents, how a lot of people have lamps and hanging lights and pendants, and oh, it's just so lovely. It looks lovely when it goes dusk. And so this is where the inspiration for this came from. Now I'm going to do a DL card today, that slimline card, but I have had a go at doing the design look just on a small, this was just an off-cut piece of card. So that here we've just got one lovely lantern. Now I've just put foliage around it, but I'm thinking you could have little Pip in there looking up. You could maybe have the owl flying. I mean, again, I'm just giving you that starting point, hopefully that bit of inspiration to go and take this a bit further. That hopefully your mind will be like mine and thinking, oh, the lantern in the garden, what can be surrounding it? So what we'll do, as I say, this is the card or something similar I thought we'd create today while we're catching up. So it's that slimline shape, DL. And so my card measures, I know you like the card measurement, I think it's 20 by 9 centimetres. So that in inches gives us just a smidge under 8. And you know what smidge is, don't you? And 3.5. So that's a smidge under 8 inches and 3.5 inches. Very technical. And this I'm using a multifarious card. And as I say, for me, I can get 3 toppers for my DL cards out of one A4 piece. And we'll start by blending our colour. Now I'm going to use the same 3 oxides that I used on my previous card. So that's my mustard seed, crackling campfire and rustic wilderness. And as always, I just pop them on my craft mat like this and just put my little blenders. So I've got one for each of my colours. And what I did in my head is I thought I'd like 3 of my sort of lanterns. So I'm going to put the yellow where they're going to be. And I want to alter the height a little bit. And again, I've got my piece of kitchen paper here. So let's have the middle one. I don't want it directly in the middle. I'm just going to put it off slightly. So we'll add that there. And then we'll come in and we'll say, have another one here. This one can be a bit taller. And then this one, probably come a bit too far over, but it doesn't matter. This one could actually be off the page. And we'll put this one here. Make this a little bit bigger, I think, that way. And this way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend some green ink. So that's the rustic wilderness just along the bottom. Now this is a great way of blending because you don't have to be very precise. The background will almost blend itself. So circular motions, and I'm just going that sort of area. And I'm going to turn it round Am I still in camera? Yes. And I'm going to come in with my orange. And again, I'm going to start on the corner here because that's when I've got most ink. And almost copy that shape, come round that shape. Now, I know it looks a bit of a dog's dinner at the minute. Almost looks like an egg, doesn't it? So I've got my fried egg here. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put any more ink on. I'm going to use that ink and actually move it round and basically fill in the gaps. Now, don't worry, at this point, we're not after perfect blending, which is quite a good job, really, when you look at it, isn't it? But the beauty of this card is it will let the ink just glide and blend. Right, as I say, I'm not putting any more ink on, I'm just using that ink that's there, and I want to move it around. So I want to bring the orange into the green slightly. And I just keep turning the card because for me, it's easier for me to turn the card. And again, I am being quite, putting a bit of welly in it, shall we say, with my blending. So I've brought that orange into the yellow a little. And then I'm going to bring that yellow and orange into the green. And what I'm going to do now is come back in with my yellow, turn it round a little bit. Now you can see here, if I just come in with that yellow and I can reblend there, rework that, and look how lovely that is. So I'm going to do that on each one. Just come back in, blend in the middle and blend out. And this is where my light sources are going to be. And as I say, this card just blends so well. Then I want just a hint of the orange down here. Sorry, the yellow. So just where the orange and the green meet, I'm just going to add a hint of that yellow, just because I want it to look bright, so that we're going to have that. Now, there's a little bit there that I think's I've got a little bit too much orange. So I'm going to come in with the orange and just blend that out a bit. See if I can get rid of that. It's just annoying me, that. Come back in with the yellow. Yeah, that's better. There's just a bit too. There we go. So I've got my two full sort of auras and my third there that's just going to be off the page. And that's ready for where I'm going to put my lamps. So I'm just going to put the lids on. Again, try and be a tidy crafter. And we'll just mop up that ink there. So we've got a good dry space to work. Now, like I've said to you before, you could actually flick water at this point, but I'm going to do my stamping and flick my water at the end. What I am going to do is add my black Sharpie line all the way around now before I actually do any stamping. And again, as I say, I know some of you are nervous about doing this. Just make sure you've got firm pressure with this hand, and again, piece of kitchen roll so you don't put finger marks on your card. And as long as you've got firm pressure, you'll be fine. But worst case, at least you haven't done all your stamping yet. And I think because you know that you haven't, it almost makes it easier for you. You're almost not as precious about it. But that just frames it for me beautifully. So let's get rid of that. And we'll do our stamping. So I'm going to start with my black VersaFine Clay, and I'm going to bring in our small swing bed. It's got a bit of ink on my block there, and again, obviously I'm going to try and pop it so the middle is where I've got that lovely light. I've been thinking all sorts of things that I can put in the middle of these. I was thinking of, it's quite funny, I was in the garden the other day with the grandchildren and we were blowing bubbles. So I was thinking, could we have these as bubbles? You know, we could be blowing bubbles. So we'll put that one there. But this is the way, isn't it? We have lovely artwork like this from Tracy, and then mine does anyway. It runs riot of all the things that I can use it for. I also see a monocle in this, which is very random. Nice light tapping. So we'll have our second one. I think that's about there. Oh, just smudge that a little, but don't worry, we can get round that. And then we'll put the third one there. That's nice, that one's coming off the page. And again, just give my stamp a bit of a wipe. Again, it's just, I'm the sort of person I like to just clean my stamps. And I'm going to come in with this gorgeous mini, as I say, one of the pound. As you know, I love the pound stamps. So this gorgeous lamp will just hang beautifully in there. One. And two. And this one just coming off the page. Three. And we've got the basis there. As I say, I have smudged this one slightly, but don't worry, we're going to put some other stamping around it. I certainly wouldn't not continue with the design. And what we will do is we're going to bring in the garden poppy now. As you know, I love this stamp. And again, I'm just going to turn my work to the side, just because that's the way my head works. And this is going to be my main flower, that's the focal point of my florals, my meadow. Now again, if you're not sure where you're going to stamp it, use your acetate. But I'm thinking one, don't want it quite in the middle. Try and get things to look a little bit more natural. And I just think if I put it bang in the middle, it almost looks contrived. So we'll put that one there. And then let's have this one, I think a bit higher, I think there. Again, alter the height. Yeah. In fact, I think what I might do is bring another one next to that and just have it slightly offset. Yeah, I like that. Then I'm just going to have one off the edge of the page on this side over here. And I think I'm just going to angle it that way. And then I'm just going to turn it that way so I can keep an eye on how it's looking. Now the next flower I'm going to use is this wildflower stamp. Again, another one of, we do get favourites, don't we? Now this one, I'm going to come in with my new ink pad that I've bought, and it's this summertime. Such a lovely colour. And this is just to help give me depth and perspective. So this, you won't see a lot of it. It's almost tone on tone. If I can bring it a bit closer, can you see? And that's just going to give me, so it'll look in the distance, so it'll help with perspective. And again, I'm just angling this stamp so that my flowers look like they're just growing at a nice angle. We'll have another one there, maybe a little bit of second generation. Then let's just bring some either side here. Almost gives a type of a watermark effect, doesn't it? But it's important just to have it there in the background. Give that a bit of a wipe again, put it back on the acetate. And then the last stamp I'm going to use is the gorgeous field grass. And this, to help with perspective again, we're going to use 2 colours. So we're going to do a couple with our Shady Lady first. And that'll just put them more into the distance. So we're going to add a bit of height with these. And we don't want to overcook it, so we'll just add a couple here. And again, these will just be in the background. And then we'll come in with some stamping with our black to bring them into the foreground. So anywhere where I think I've got a little bit of space where I need that little bit of... And there, look, you see, for me, that's too big an area. In my meadow, I would have some lovely grasses there. Have any of you got any sort of lights like this in your garden? I bet some of you have, you know. Right, just one more. I don't want to overcook it. Let me turn it round. Yeah, see, I like that shape. And then we'll do our... What we'll do is when we do our... Now, when we use the black for our field grass, I'll bring it further down here. So again, it'll almost give depth. And it will bring sort of ground our whole design down here. You'll see the difference. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And again, that's just the way my head works. I've got to turn it that way, I'm afraid. So when I add this black, you'll see how, again, it adds to that perspective and depth, but it will also ground the whole design. Now here, obviously, because I had a space at the bottom, and just stamp, and you won't even notice that that was there. It's like everything, there are always ways to get round things. So if I just want to show you this, let me check I'm in, show you what I mean. Can you see? Just want to stand up so I can see what you can see. So can you see how the design, this side doesn't look quite finished, but this side, when we've put the black, it's knocked this grass further back and it's given us depth, but also that grounding, and it looks more balanced. And that's something just to think of when you're doing your designs, and black's very good for that. So we'll finish off by just coming over this side now and adding a few more. Now those of you that have got the orchard grass, obviously that's a smaller grass, so you could use that at this point. One more, I think, there. Yeah, I don't want to overcook it. That's enough. Again, give my stamp a wipe, and I'm just going to pop it back on my acetate, back on the side of my table. And I'm just going to give that a blot, just your VersaFine Clair. Obviously, it's a slower drying ink, so try and get into the habit of blotting it. There we go. Right, so we'll move that out of the way. What I'm going to do now is just add some little highlights. I'm going to come in with this Signo, this gold pen. And I'm just going to go round the inside of the lantern here. Try and not put my head over. And we'll do the third one here. Now, I'm going to add the gold for my highlights on my poppies. Now, you could add a white gel pen, but I just thought because for this design, I'm using sort of golds and yellows, I'd go with my gold pen. But again, you can use white if you prefer. And I'm actually going to add some little gold dots just around my gorgeous light. Make it look sort of a bit sparkly, like it would how the light catches it in the garden. All those lovely little fairy dots, look. And again on this poppy here, you will take more time at home. Now you can add as much, you can add some little sparkly dots to the grasses if you want. And then what I am going to do is just, with my chalk pastel pencil, add a little bit of yellow just into there and then just smudge it a little. And now I'm going to flick. I've got my fan brush in my water pot and I'm just going to flick. Now the reason, as I say, I'm doing mine at this stage is I like to add mine at the end. Everybody's different. If you want to add yours earlier on, by all means do that. Don't worry about this ink. All your VersaFine Clair is a permanent ink, so that won't move with the water. But I like to just do my stamping and then flick. I find it easier rather than flicking and then stamping. Now I just want to add a couple more there. And because I want to be specific, I've just brought in my little fine brush. Now I'm going to dab these again, just for speed. But at home, I would leave those and let them just take the time and faux bleach. So what I will do, I'll just bring my heat tool in and we'll just dry that off a little. And again, remember, always dry the back as well. So how are you doing? How are things? I hope things are okay. Thank you for all your lovely comments. I do read them. Sometimes it takes me a while to answer, so I do apologise. But I do love the way we all share things together, so thank you for that. And thank you for your lovely emails. It's lovely to get emails from you. It's quite funny because obviously I talk away here, but then when I read your emails, it's lovely because you answer me. So I'm very grateful for that, so thank you. Now, you can leave it at that point if you wish. We just want to add some little white orbs. So what we're going to do for that is use our, well, white orb stencil, of course. What else would you add white orbs with? Various things. You could use some ink if you wanted and just dab it through with a sponge. But I'm just going to use my pastel pencil. And again, I don't want to lean on my work. I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to choose a couple of these and then I'm just going to smudge them out, look. So we'll go for, and again, a couple of different sizes. So we'll go for the lighter one there, the smaller one, and just smudge that out. Oh, that'd be nice over that. Sometimes I just choose one of the areas that are faux bleached. It gives me a nice idea of where to have an orb. We don't want to overcook these. We're just adding a little bit more interest into the background. Now, you can do them freehand if you want, but I've got to be honest, I just find that this is easier for me. And then it just smudges nicely. We need one there, don't we? So what size should we go for? Oh, let's go for that size there. Maybe just one up there. Yeah, just going off the page, I think. It's always nice to have things off the page. That's nice. We don't want too many. We need something up there, don't we? Just one of the small ones, I think. Smudge that out. And then with our white gel pen, let's just put a little white dot in the centre of each of those. And then on our flame, and just a couple of highlights on our, I don't want too many, I don't want to overcook it. And there we go. My lovely little, I was almost in the garden then. I was just about to get my little glass of Prosecco and sit in the garden and watch. I just think some little butterflies will come along in a minute, or maybe some dragonflies. What do you think? I think it's that lovely, well, it's that lovely time of year here. Must admit, I love autumn, but those evenings, let's just bring in the original. Those evenings where you just sit out with a cheeky glass of something and just watch wildlife. There we go. So for me, this is one of those evenings, look. Now, I've specifically on this one left an area here. I adore the heartfelt verses. And again, I've left an area that for me, this is one of those emergency cards that will be great for, you know, a get well, a birthday. And if you look, that will be perfect. Look, I could stamp birthday wishes, just for you, with love. So this is going to be that emergency card. Look, if I move that, that's ready for me just to stamp my sentiment there, and that'll be ready to go. So I'll pop the two there. In fact, I'll bring in the design I did with just one. So I hope you like that idea. What other things could we have growing? And also, if you've got a lamp like that in your garden, I'd love to know about it. I hope you have a go at this design. If you do tag me in. I love to see. And if you've got other ideas with it, again, just let me know. Let me know if it's sparked some inspiration for you. It is funny the way our heads work, isn't it? So you take care. Thanks for joining me as always. Much love and hugs. Bye for now.